Hey guys, what's going on? Brian back with another video, and today we will be taking a deep dive into what the State of Decay 2 Darkside mod is. We'll be breaking it down, going through all the things that this mod entails, guys. And I am joined here today with the main creator of the Darkside mod and a longtime friend, guys, Zeru.
Hey all, thanks for having me here to help quote-unquote shed light to the Darkside mod. And with that, let us dig into this mad creation of ours. About Darkside. Darkside is an overhaul mod exclusive to Nightmare and Lethal Zone. The mod originated from my first overhaul mod called Dead in Heaven. This mod aims to flesh out several mechanics in the game, all the while giving players a good challenge. The mod emphasizes the managing of not only regular resources, but your community itself, fleshes out the use of labor, distraction items, special items from Heartland, and how you should handle various scenarios. This isn't just my mod, but it's a mod by everyone in the modding Discord. Same applies to Dead in Heaven. Credit goes to everyone who deserves it. Consider donating to me and the modders in the modding Discord. Without them, my overhauls and my mods wouldn't be a thing.
All right, guys, so first topic we're going to go over today, we're going to jump in, we're going to talk about the zombies, the spawns, the differences between like the hordes, infestations, all that stuff. We're going to go over a little bit of detail on what is actually in this mod. So to start off, we had these spawns like when you first start off the game. As you can see, there's not a lot of zombies on the map. It actually, the spawns are lower than green zone when you initially start, and then they ramp up over time as you're playing the game to have 10 times more zombies than even the lethal zone has in the base game. The game scales based off of your community standing, so depending on how many heroes you have and stuff like that, all of the actions that your characters do throughout the game will earn them standing, such as killing plague hearts. Everything in the game that your character does except trading items will gain standing. Now, to get into it, all of our zombies have increased hearing and sight, so they can hear things from way farther away and they can see you from way farther away. And that also goes with screamers. Screamers can spot you from like across the map, guys. It's super duper crazy. So you want to be careful when you're dealing with things like screamers, because you might not even know that a screamer that spawned in 100 meters away from you seen you, and he's just going to slow walk up to you, and it's going to create a bad day. So yeah, everything has improved hearing, improved sight. Now, damage, overall damage taken has been increased across the board, guys. That goes from physical damage, plague damage, all of that stuff has been increased greatly, to the point where if you take a bite from a blood plague zombie, you will almost more times than not be instant plagued. You will go from 0 to full blood plague if you get the full bite animation. Taking a full bite from a regular zombie will half health you, does a ton of permanent damage. So damage is something you definitely want to watch out for in this mod. Now, I know you guys have seen in the lethal zone, they have implemented the plague freaks. Now, the Darkside mod, we've been using plague freaks for months now, so this is nothing new to us. The only thing that is different between the lethal zone and the Darkside mod is the fact that we have the plague variants, but we also have the base variants also. So we have plague jugs, regular jugs, plague ferals, regular ferals, and they all spawn on the map in conjunction with each other. So you can get what are called one of our new hordes that we implemented in the Darkside mod, which is a murder pack, which consists of 6 ferals, guys. And you can get, 4 blood plague ferals, 2 regular ferals, 3 and 3, it all just depends. But yes, you can get hit with 6 ferals at once, guys. That is the replacement for the regular feral pack. Has been replaced with our murder pack. And we also have the big horde, guys, which is called the Freak Show. This contains 4 of each freak in the game except bloaters, because the ferals and the juggernauts just knock the bloaters over and explode them. And there's no point in even having them in the game at that point, because they just are going to get blown up anyways. So you got 4 screamers, 4 ferals, 4 juggernauts, and a whole lot of plague zombies to go along with them. So if you do run into this horde, I would steer clear. It's a bad day if you get caught off guard by it. we have a new infestation mechanic called the Blood Festations. Now, this mechanic, guys, changes all of the zombies in the infestation into blood variants. Like the lethal zone changed the screamer to a blood screamer. All of our zombies are blood plague zombies. They also have a chance of spawning blood bloaters and blood pharaohs in the infestation. And our infestation numbers have also been increased from the base games. Our starter infestation, instead of being 1 in 6, is 1 in 15. Instead of having 2 in 10, we have, or 2 in 8, we have 2 in 30. And instead of having 3 in 10, we have 3 in 50, guys. Now, the bigger your infestations get, the more chance you have of getting pharaohs and bloaters to spawn because of the extra spawn slots. So you want to definitely stay on top of that. And going for them is very, very dangerous because blood plague is really hard to deal with. Plague cures are really hard to come by because we have lowered the drop rate on plague samples even lower than the regular lethal zone. So getting your hands on plague samples is next to impossible. It's so hard, guys. And now just clearing an infestation, you have to expose yourself to extreme levels of blood plague. So watch out for that. Now, to also stick with the theme of the plague, our sieges have actually become blood sieges, which the siege is just all blood plague. There'll be plague zombies, plague pharaohs, plague bloaters, everything is of plague variant. So once again, it's forcing the player to have to deal with that plague variant and that plague danger in another aspect of the game. Another thing we changed was scent block. Now, when you use it, it lasts longer, which is good because I always felt like scent block didn't last very long. The scent block now lasts a lot longer, but when you use it, it pretty much gives you blood plague. It's no longer like a third of the bar. It will pretty much bring you up to about 90 to 95% plagued. So if you even have a little bit of blood plague, you're not going to be able to use the scent block without giving yourself full plague. So you definitely got to play around that new mechanic. It's a lot of fun. Granted, you do get more out of your scent block. It's just more risky to use because if you even take the slightest amount of plague damage, you're going to full plague yourself if you use it. Now, our bloaters, guys, these are really, really cool. The cloud size for the bloaters, the regular bloaters, the green ones, has been increased by 5 times. And when I say it's huge, guys, it is enormous. Enormous. So you really want to watch out with the regular bloaters. They will smoke a building out. They will smoke out a whole entire area. So you definitely want to make sure you keep good distance from them because if they run up on you and blow up, it's going to take you quite a bit to be able to get out of that smoke because the cloud is so big. And then for the blood plague bloaters, we've doubled the size of the cloud, which makes them really, they're still huge, guys. They're still huge. But another thing is to, I know because a lot of people probably have some concerns with that, to kind of counter the concerns about like NPCs with the bloater gas and things like that, or driving in your car and you get hit with the bullshit bloater that, you know, is 10 feet away and somehow explodes and gets on your car. While you're in your vehicle, you will actually take less plague damage because if you think about it in a realistic terms, when you're in your car, you're less likely to, it's not like you're out there breathing in the direct smoke. So while you're in your vehicle, you are going to take less damage from the bloater gas compared to if you were standing outside. But at the same time, it's still going to kill you very quickly. So you want to make sure that you get out of the car. It's not something you just want to sit there and try to tank. And to combat the NPCs have been modded to actively avoid the modded bloater gas. So you don't have to roll up. Now that's outdoors. Now, there's nothing you can do about stupid AI. They're going to do dumb things. So if they are in a building with a bloater and a bloater explodes, they still have a chance of acting not so smart and just rolling around into the wall trying to escape it. But that's beyond our capabilities to fix, guys, without being able to dig into the engine and completely redesign the AI. But so for the most part, on the surface, that's about all of the changes we have made to like combat and zombies and stuff like that in the Darkside mod.
And on to Rucksacks. So I came to creating this mod when I saw that you can actually break open rucksacks for smaller items. like, gas, stuff, crafting items. But base game rucksack contents felt pretty meh. Not really not really not worth opening it. So I went ahead altered their contents so that it would actually be worth opening, especially when you've hit the storage limit.
Yeah. Now everything he said right there, it's so true, guys. Like you guys know like he brought this up to me. Actually, I didn't even know this mod existed until Zeru created it, and it blew my mind when I first seen it. And I was like, man, this has to be a part of this mod. It is great. Because as you guys know, like he said, the rucksacks are just meh. Like, what's the point of breaking them open? Do you get some snacks out of it? Like, no, nobody would ever realistically do that. Nobody would realistically ever break open an ammo rucksack to get, maybe some 22 rounds. You're better off just putting the ammo rucksack in your base and then sorting it. So to break it down, guys, the amount of resources in the rucksack has actually now been halved from what it is in the irregular lethal zone. So now rucksacks are actually you're not going to be able to go out and get one materials rucksack and get 5 materials and be able to craft something. Now all of our rucksacks are cut in half. Your food, your fuel, and your ammo, you're only going to gain 2 resource per rucksack, guys. So now you're going to have to actually go out and the reason behind this, guys, is we wanted to force players to have to utilize other mechanics in the game other than looting. So if you no longer can acquire materials through looting, how else can you get them? The base game doesn't force players into those scenarios. The base game doesn't force players into those scenarios with any resource. So our goal for this was to force players to have to think outside the box and utilize all of the game mechanics in order to gain resources. So instead of being able to go now and just loot meds, you actually have to utilize your base function and craft meds using ethanol and chemicals and things like that. And that's kind of what we're going for there, guys. So yes, there's half the amount of rucksack loot on the maps now, which is kind of counteracted if you do stay up on your play carts. If you stay up on play carts, guys, you got to remember play carts will drop more rucksacks, but overall there is so much less loot on the map when it comes to rucksacks. Now, the big changes are when you break down an ammo rucksack now, you can get various types of ammo, guns, and throwables. They've been nerfed a little bit from probably what you guys seen in past videos, where you used to be able to open up the ammo rucksacks and just get crazy amounts of really, really good guns. The guns have definitely been reined in quite a bit. And overall, they've been reined in a little bit, but you can break them down, and I promise they are going to be a lot more useful than if you broke down a vanilla rucksack. The material rucksacks, they can give parts, scraps, toolkits, and melee weapons, which feel really, really good. But in these higher levels of the difficulty, the chance of you wanting to break down a material rucksack is going to be extremely low. But if you do find yourself with like a forge and you're just converting parts into materials, and you have an outpost that you're just churning out tons of materials, that will give you options, guys, to get toolkits, melee weapons, scraps, and parts by converting them or breaking down the material rucksacks. Now, the food rucksacks, they can give you food related items, snacks and things like that. Mystery meat rucksacks though have not been changed. So if you buy one of those from the Enclave and you try to break it down, it's still going to give you the vanilla game resources from opening that. And the medical rucksack, they can give you health and stamina related items. And the fuel related rucksack will obviously give you fuel cans and throwables. And as you guys see, all of the contents in these rucksacks are way better than the base vanilla game.
So, like Brian said, since the rucksacks are nerfed to hell and back, probably, so it will definitely force you to use the the radio commands to look for those rucksacks that you need. So we are basically trying to force people to use influence in finding those. And yeah, given that it definitely fleshes out the game a bit more.
All right, guys. So to jump into the loot, now we really didn't change loot, the overall loot like table in the overall game. It's vanilla. I felt like the game it's already pretty stingy, and there was no reason for us to increase that or decrease it anymore. I felt like it had a good feel with us making the changes to the rucksacks. I felt like the game balance is just right where it needs to be. Now, the one thing that we did add, guys, I spoke with Zeru one day and we went over it, and he came up with the name, the description, everything, and it's so awesome, guys. We added a new hybrid muzzle brake called the WG1 Karasawa. It can be found in the rare weapon cases. Now, it is a very, very good attachment, guys. It makes your gun really, really strong, quiet, everything. It's awesome. But the only drawback, guys, is it's extremely rare, and on top of it being rare, it does more damage to your weapon. So when you shoot your gun, it's gonna degrade your weapon extremely fast. So at the cost of power, you're gonna be losing a lot of durability. So if you do find one of these, don't just go slapping on your gun willy-nilly thinking that you're gonna be able to just go and shoot it. Like, oh man, this thing's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome, but early game, if you do happen to get one in a rare weapons case, your part cost is gonna be astronomical. So you wanna be careful with that. And to keep on the topic of these rare weapon cases, we've made changes to the rare weapon cases. Because come to find out, guys, Zeru actually informed me on this, is there's two different kind of cases. There's actually melee cases and ranged weapon cases. So we just kind of got rid of that whole thing and just made it, all of them are all the same. You can get either melee or ranged out of any case, which I think is a good change. And the only other bit of loot that we changed in the mod is we altered the loot table slightly for the play carts. We've removed guns, so you can no longer receive guns from play carts and no longer receive CQC items from play carts. And now those items have been replaced with consumables. Now the reason for doing that, sitting there talking with Zeru, and like I said, he's a magician, guys, with this stuff. He jumped in and he was able to get this done, no problem. Within it was probably in under 30 minutes he did this, and he came back. He was like, yep, no more guns, no more CQC, because in my opinion, there was too many guns. Like, Undead Labs' point of the lethal zone was to remove guns, make guns harder to come by. But realistically, with them tripling the amount of play carts, every single play cart is a guaranteed ranged weapon drop. So if you have 36 play carts on your map, that's 36 guaranteed ranged weapons you are going to receive. So we no longer have that in our mod, which is going to force you to actually find your guns in other locations. So with these new changes to this mod, guys, we have literally significantly reduced the amount of ranged weapons that you're going to be able to acquire on the map. And to jump into the last thing that we changed with the plague heart loot is we gave him some new rucksacks, guys. So you have a chance of getting what's called the Fat Loot Ruck, which is the rarest and best item you can receive from a plague heart. Now, these are hard to get, guys. I'd say out of 10 plague hearts I've cleared, I maybe get one if I'm lucky. So these Fat Lukes can be broken down in your inventory. Like, you actually have to break it open, and what it does is it gives you one resource ruck of each type. So you break it open, you get one food ruck, one materials ruck, one meds, one fuel, one ammo. And if you don't want to use that, you can also turn it in. Like, if you just take the Fat Luke itself without breaking it down and you drop it into your community locker, it will give you 1500 influence. But another good thing about the Fat Loot, guys, if you break it open, you have a small chance of getting the Dead End Heaven War Bag, which is an amazing rucksack. If you do find one in the mod, guys, it contains 2 guaranteed ammo rucks, and you receive some guns out of that. So breaking open the Fat Loot is always worth it. The resources are always worth it. So if you do get your guys hands on one, don't just go deposit it in your locker, guys. Break it open, get all your rucksacks, and go from there. Now, another rucksack that has been added to the game is the Darkside loot, which just contains 2 random resource rucks. So you can break it open, you can get 1 ammo, 1 food, 1 material, 1 med. It all just depends. It's all random. Or you can deposit it into the Darkside loot ruck itself. You can deposit that into your storage, and you can get 5 guaranteed materials. And another ruck that has been added to the game, which you can get from both the fat loot and the dark side, is called the junk sack, which that rucksack just contains some crafting items like ethanol, chemicals, and things like that. That rucksack can be found in either the fat loot or the dark side. So going from all this, guys, we're gonna talking about all this plague heart loot. Let's go right into talking about the plague hearts themselves, because they are wow.
Okay, so we're on to the big baddies of the mod now. The big honkers. So, Plague Hearts for the base game felt pretty underwhelming. It was portrayed to be a great threat. Not great. Having played multiplayer with randos several times, and, randos just go and kill it. It felt so easy when someone with a full auto gun can just bang, 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 bang it with bullets and kill it in less than a minute. That had to change, really. Without going through specifics, Plague Hearts and Darkside are really, really tough and pose a real threat. The hearts can take a lot of punishment, but it's easily dispatched with melee and fire. And yeah, I would really recommend with a heavy melee. You can just hit it and it just pops. The Plague Heart will actually defend itself and use the ambient spawns of its own and the regular ambient spawns for help. So it won't really be a walk in the park when just give it a little tap. So when the Plague Heart loses a portion of its health, it will put out gas to protect it from melee damage. And with that gas, it will also call the ambient spawns. So it will put you into a scenario where you have to wait for the gas to disappear and lead the zombies away, or you can just stand there and fight and die, probably, usually. So reason for this is because people can cheat the Plague Heart by putting it in a safe zone, disabling its defense and ambient spawns from coming to its aid. The Outpost overhaul also comes into play on deterring you from doing this exploit as well. More on that part of Darkside later. The Plague Heart has 2 phases, the second lasting longer than the first. Even after the gas clears, the Plague Heart will continue to attract Zeds to its location, but not as frequent during the gas period. Additionally, as you gain standing, the Plague Heart will may spawn Plague Ferals and Plague Juggernauts to add a little bit of layer of more challenge. It also increases the spawn it makes. So we come to the Outpost overhaul mod that I mentioned earlier. So before Brian goes over this, I just want to say I spent like a full 4 days staring into the deep dark souls of the files, figuring out what does what, and breaking a lot of stuff. In the process, after a lot of crashing and coffee, success.
All right, guys, now to just jump in, we're going to talk about some quick, smaller little changes. Just small little quality of life changes, I guess you could say. All right, first things first, we had some items. You can now carry them in bigger stacks. Things like, firecrackers that you can only carry like 3 little packs of firecrackers in 1 inventory slot. It didn't make a whole lot of sense, so we bumped that up. So things like that you can carry more of. And it's a lot of the little knick-knack items and things like that. So we didn't go and like change like, oh, you can hold 50 bottles of medicine now. That stuff's all still normal. There's just certain items in the game that make sense to be able to carry more per inventory slot that we changed. We've also changed Outposts because in Heartland, in the base game, you can only get a max of 7 outposts. but in Heartland you can get 8. So the UI is actually built for 8 outposts, but you will never see that 8th slot, guys, in the base game. So what we did was we increased that number so you can achieve that maximum of 8 outposts in the base game by starting you off with an additional outpost. So now you'll start with the ability to build 3, and then by using hacking and the network relay with a level 3 command center, you're able to get 8 outposts altogether. So that fits really, really nice. We increased the enclaves, the size of enclaves from 3 to 5. And when you go to recruit from an enclave, you will no longer disband the whole group by recruiting one of their people. So if you go to an enclave, an allied enclave, and they got 5 people in there, and you want to recruit one of them, you don't have to worry about the whole group disbanding at that point. They will stay. They stick around, because to me that never made sense why they would just leave because one of their people are gone. So you can go, you can recruit, and the enclave will stay. Overall, changes have been made to the AI to make them better at defending themselves to the increased difficulty, because we made the game harder, but the AI was only designed to be so good. So without the changes being made to the AI, they consistently just die in this new difficulty. They can't keep up. So changes have been made to make the AI better at fighting off this same threat. Vehicles, guys, have been increased. The speed of the vehicles, the acceleration and top speed has been increased for a more realistic feel. So you're not driving a muscle car that's maxed out at 15 miles an hour. You can really get up and go, guys, with the speed increase. And I personally have been using this speed increase for months now, guys, and I don't have too many issues with popping. I think I have just as much issue with popping in the base game than I do with the increased vehicles. I don't see a difference. It's not like the faster I drive, I have more of a chance of hitting a popping bloater. I feel like the chance of hitting a popping bloater driving 100 miles an hour or driving 30 miles an hour, it's the same thing. So you don't have nothing to worry about when it comes to that. And we went ahead and adjusted the base siege timer. I spoke with Zeru about this because I felt the 30 seconds you get before siege, especially if it's going to be a big one, guys. I never felt like 30 seconds was enough time. It's like, what am I doing in this time? Like, what am I supposed to do in this time? So we increased the time to around 1.5 minutes or so to allow players the time to go and assign specific weapons to your people if you need, to go around placing explosives on your choke points and your funnels. So it just gives you more time to set up, to prepare for that base siege. It actually makes it so you can use things like the box mines, remote mines, minefields, because it gives you a chance to go out and set all these up during that window. So that way when the zombies start moving in, you can actually utilize a lot of those placeables that still to this day don't fit into the game very well. I feel like placeables are hit or miss, except things like C4 and things like that. But actual mines have to be triggered by the zombies. I still feel are having a pretty hard time finding their usefulness in game. So this was just a way for us to try to give those items a chance to actually serve some type of purpose. And another huge change, guys, is we now have the embedded realistic vehicle storage. So it never made sense that the best vehicle in the game being a van, well, storage-wise, the best vehicle in the game being a van, had the same amount of storage as a hiking backpack. Doesn't make any sense. So to me, an 8-slot backpack, if a van should be 30-plus slots. If a backpack can hold 8, a van should be able to hold 30 things, 40 things even, upgraded. So what we did was every vehicle now has a different storage. Some of the smaller vehicles are now maybe like some of the small list vehicles that had like 3 spots might have like 7 or 9 ish, and they just go up. Trucks, will have 20, 30. Vans will have up in the 30s, 40s. Like they get big, guys. So your vehicles are they have a realistic storage capacity to them instead of only having like 6 spots and stuff like that. And it feels really, really good. All right, guys. So another thing that was added, we added 3 new traits to the game and 1 new hero bonus. All right, now these traits are all pretty rare. 2 of them being really, really rare, and the hero bonus also being extremely rare. We'll start off with the short change hero trait, guys. Now, this trait, all core skills are at 6 stars. Unlocks heroism and warfighting specialization, which is awesome. Those are generally red talon only skills, but having this short change hero ability allows regular survivors to gain those abilities, which is really, really cool. If you don't have a red talon specifically. Now downsides is -3 morale to everyone for having this hero, and -50% standing gain. So they're going to gain their hero bonus and all that stuff a lot shorter than a normal survivor. And the short change hero bonus that's associated with that trait is ammo wishlist, which gives you +1 ammo every day. All right, guys. So the next trait is the Wannabe Yakuza trait. This is a really, really good trait, guys. So if you roll this in the menu, which is the only way to get these traits, guys. So don't try to cheat using the community editor because it ain't going to work. This is a really good trait to get your hands on. You get plus 45 health, plus 45 stamina. You get -40% fatigue rate, which means they get tired slower. -40% injury rate, which is awesome, guys. It's kind of like having the hard to kill and, keeps going trait all in one. It's super duper strong. You get +15 carry limit, and you get +100% consumable effect. You give a 200% experience gain and 1.5 food consumption. Now, this hero trait, or this trait, has the ability to give you the new hero bonus, guys, which is +3 labor to the survivor and +45 stamina to everybody in your community. Now, the only thing is you can roll a Wannabe Yakuza and still not get this hero bonus, because the way the game works is it could prioritize one of your other traits to give you the hero bonus associated with that trait instead. So that makes this hero bonus that much harder to get your hands on. So not only is it so super hard to get the Wannabe Yakuza trait, but on top of that, to get the trait and the hero bonus at the same time, it's really, really hard. All right, guys, and now let's jump into the big Mac Daddy of them all, the Among the Dead trait. This trait is hands down amazing, guys. I actually got lucky enough to roll this in my current Darkside playthrough that I'm doing, and it's outstanding, guys. Now, there's a lot of downsides to this trait, plus a lot of good. Now, downsides, guys, -45 health, -45 stamina. So your health and stamina bar are practically non-existent. They are super duper tiny. This survivor gets tired 33% faster than every other type of survivor. So you can't be out with them very long. They're going to get tired extremely quick, which is also just going to add on to that stamina bar already being tired and then getting cut in half by fatigue. Puts the survivor in a bad spot, guys, because with that health nerf plus our damage increases, you can almost get one shot with this trait, guys. I've literally got bit by one zombie and brought down to like 9 health. So it can get really, really dangerous. 2 hits from a feral, dead. It's really, 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 I guess you could say like a glass cannon almost is how I look at these Among the Dead survivors. But let's get into some good and the reason why you want this trait. You get plague immunity. So it's just like having a blood plague survivor. But the thing that makes the Among the Dead the most powerful, guys, is the -97% zombie visibility. When you have the Among the Dead survivors, you can literally walk among the dead, guys. You walk with the zombies. You talk to the zombies. Obviously, if you get too close, they'll detect you. They'll come after you. And ferals have a keen sense to kind of see through your among the dead disguise. So you definitely want to make sure you keep your distance from the ferals, because they'll jump on you, guys. And if you get jumped by a feral, it is very, very dangerous, because like I said, they can kill you in 1 to 2 hits if you're unlucky. If you get tackled to the ground and that feral starts mowing on you, you're dead. That's it. So you want to make sure you still keep your distance from the ferals, because you don't want them to spot you, and you got to be really, really careful with this trait. Now, another thing to make these kind of rein in the OP-ness that could have came from this if this was on like a regular survivor is the cardio skill has been maxed at 3 stars. So you can't go over 3 stars in cardio. So that means you'll never be able to specialize in cardio. You'll never gain any more stamina outside of the 3 stars. And the same thing with fighting. The fighting has been limited at 3 stars also. So you'll never be able to specialize in a fighting skill. You'll never be able to get that health increase over them 3 stars. And on top of that, guys, they eat more food than a regular survivor too. So like I said, there's a lot of positives to get in this. They are the ultimate stealth character, especially if you give them the stealth ability. But at the same time, guys, like I said, glass cannons, I've almost killed mine about 5 times, because the smallest thing goes wrong, guys, and boom, they're almost dead. So you really want to be careful with this survivor.
So with this Among the Dead, this glass cannon per se, this one was inspired by a lot of video games and movies where the person, the main character or whoever, it got bitten and went into a fever coma, woke up, stuff like that, and suddenly this zombie apocalypse ignores him since the undead think he's one of us. So, yeah, it's something along those lines.
And as you guys can see, guys, gun's insane. Hey guys, what's going on? So we're gonna go over the outposts now. Individually, we're gonna showcase what each of the different Darkside outposts do. Because as I told you guys, we wanted to make Outpost more, and I believe we've done that the best of our abilities within the capabilities of the game. So we are going to start off with the food outpost. All right, guys, so we are going to start here with the food outpost. Now, this says here 4 food a day. With the lethal zone buff, they doubled the food outpost, so this is not correct. It's actually only 2. But let's get into some of these facility functions. So having a food outpost, guys, I guess you could say if you have a base that doesn't have a kitchen in it, your food outpost will kind of give you some basic kitchen functions. So if you have a base that you don't have a kitchen but you don't want to build a kitchen, get a food outpost, and this is what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to prepare snacks in the food outpost. You can make coffee, you can make energy drinks, and you can produce food. You can convert food into fuel. And you have here with a Zeru special, you can prepare a feast, some Philippine foods. And it's pretty much the same thing as the regular feast. The requirements right there, you need power, water, knowledge, cooking, and all that stuff. Really, really cool functions, guys, like I said, but it just gives you basic kitchen functions. And as you guys can see, you can even add mods to the kitchen, to our outposts. So certain outposts, like food outposts, you can, as you can see, you can put all of the food type mods in here. Anything that you can install in a kitchen or in any one of the random facilities, you can install in the kitchen outpost or the food outpost. Next, guys, we have here the medical outpost. All right, so this gives you +2 meds a day, and like I said, you just get some really, really basic infirmary. Now, most of us are always going to have an infirmary built, but this allows you to actually, you can craft stuff in your infirmary out, because as you can see, we have times, craft times that we added to all of our stuff in the Darkside mod. So if you want to craft plague cures here, but then also craft plague cures in your infirmary, you'd be able to do two at a time. Or when it comes to like producing meds, you can produce meds here and produce meds in your infirmary at the same time. But say you do have a base and you don't have an infirmary right off the bat, say you're moving from base to base, and you haven't set up an infirmary yet, if you have a medical outpost, you're always going to have that overlap to be able to craft plague cures and things like that. And as you guys can see, we have some added things, but we'll get into that later on with the facility functions. All right, next, guys, we have the ammo outpost. Once again, gives 2 ammo a day. We increased that to make the outpost feel more, as you could say, like more impactful. That was the reason for the buff. 1 ammo a day is pretty insignificant, so I figured we'll at least make it 2. And having a regular ammo and now like an ammo place, this is like a gun store, things like that. Not like the military base is its own thing, but yeah, like gun stores, hunting stores, and stuff like that. They will actually give you this ammo outpost function. So you get the +2 a day, and then here you get some basic crafting. Now this is really, really cool, guys, because we allow you to craft certain calibers of ammunition when you have a ammo outpost. Nothing super crazy good, but you can do 22, you can craft some 9mm, you can craft 357, 5.56, and shotgun, and you can also produce ammo resources in your outpost. Now obviously you see there is quite a few different ammo types missing here. You can't get 45 or 44 or 7.62 or 50 cal out of this, but you can get these. All right, next we have the material outpost, guys. 2 materials a day. Now this thing is pretty expensive to build, but it has such good features, guys. The material outpost allows you to actually generate more. Like this is just your passive +2 materials a day, but the actual outpost itself gives you the ability to generate a lot more materials, guys. So this kind of acts as like a basic level 1 workshop if you don't have one. Gives you some basic workshop functions. You can produce ammo, you can produce the bolts, firecrackers, basic explosives. That is just the basic stuff you can do with a materials outpost. You also can repair, salvage weapons, and stuff like that. And it also, this is the main thing right here, guys. It has the sawmill function from that base on Providence Ridge. So you can actually produce a large load of materials, medium load, or a small load. It requires labor and it has a time frame. Right now my times are accurate, so it doesn't actually take 2 seconds. But yeah, guys, so this is what makes the material outpost super strong. Especially in the Lethal Darkside, you guys who have been watching the series, it's very, very hard to come by materials. Even in basic Lethal Zone, materials are really, really hard to come by. So being able to have a way to produce them, obviously there's a 45-minute cooldown, but having a way to produce materials is a game changer in this game mode. All right, guys, so next we have the Scavenge base outpost. Now this is one of the big shipping warehouses. If you claim, there's a couple other buildings around the map. If you claim, you're allowed to, you get 2 of every single resource every day, guys. So imagine having all of the outposts, but just all in one building. Super powerful, guys, but very expensive to claim, materials and influence wise. But if you can, definitely get one of these outposts. They are a huge bonus, guys. And the safe house, guys. So the safe house, we bumped it up. Instead of giving 2 beds, our safe house give 4 beds. And these are some of the coolest functions that Zeru made himself, guys. Like, it's awesome. So safe house actions, guys. Now when you have a house outpost, it's not just beds. They actually have some pretty good, cool functions. Now, the first we'll go over here. Scavenge. This allows you to send some of your community members out to gather resources at the cost of 5 ammunition and 3 people. You have to send out 3 people. They'll go out for a certain period of time, about 30-40 minutes or whatever, how long it takes, and they'll go out. They'll spend ammo because obviously they got to kill zombies or whatever to clear, but they will get 75 parts, 3 food, fuel, materials, and meds, They'll get you a little bit of prestige and a little bit of influence, guys, all at the cost of ammo. So if you are an ammo powerhouse, if you got a military outpost and a gun shop, a workshop, constantly all craft an ammo resource, you know, and you're really pumping out ammo, guys, you can invest a lot into this trait, or into this function. So this is a really, really cool function. Next, we have the Scavenge for small items, guys. You can send out your people to just gather some small knick-knack things here and there at the cost of more ammo. And then the same goes for Scavenge for valuables. You spend a little bit of ammo, you send one of your people out, and they'll go try to find you some luxury items. Really, really cool, guys. All these functions are all like scavenge functions where you can utilize the people in your base to do other things other than just sit there and look pretty. Now the safe house also has some home defense or home base security. So what you can do is you spend 4 rolls of firecrackers, 3 ammo, and 2 people, and what they'll do is they'll go out to that base and they will set all that stuff off, make a whole lot of noise, and it will reduce the zombie threat by 14, guys, for the whole rest of the day. So your base will be less likely to get really bad siege or something like that. So if you know you got a lot of building you want to do, if you got a lot of crafting and you want to upgrade a lot of your facilities, go ahead, send some people out, use some firecrackers, a little bit of ammo, reduce that threat big time, guys. It's going to pretty much bring your threat down to nothing because, you know, everybody's going to be far away distracting zombies. So this is super good facility function. And last but not least, guys, we have the Kilo India Tango. This reduces zombie threat by 30 guys for 2 days. Now the thing is, in order to use this safe house function, you need the last facility we're going to talk about here, which is the artillery, the military outpost. You need the big bad military outpost, which is the hardest, most expensive outpost to get in the game. But once you get it, you're allowed to spend 4 ammo, 2 people, and you can reduce your threat to pretty much nothing, guys. It's really, really good. But I promise you, getting the artillery outpost is not easy to do. All right, guys, so here we go. We are going to be talking about the artillery outpost. This cost a fortune, 4,000 influence. You know, you're up there in almost 20 materials. It cost a lot to build this place, guys, a lot. Now, let's get into what it does. So your passives, guys, you unlock artillery strikes, you unlock the mortar barrage, you can find military people, you can you get the -2, it costs 2 ammo per day, and it automatically repairs melee weapons. So these are some just built-in passive functions that the artillery outpost has. Now let's get into the good stuff. You guys ready? So in here, guys, you can craft the rest of those bullets that the regular ammo places can't craft. You could do your 45, your 7.62, 50 cal, and 40 millimeter grenades. You can also craft advanced weapon attachments such as advanced brakes, chokes, and suppressors. They are very expensive. As you guys can see, the costs are nothing to joke around with. So this ain't just an easy way to go and get advanced attachments, because obviously advanced attachments are extremely hard to get. They will cost you a pretty penny, guys. You got to have that knowledge of engineering, you got to have power, but once you have that, you will be able to craft these. And obviously to craft these ammo, you need knowledge of munitions, so it's not just a freebie either. Like so that still makes weapon presses, because you guys are like, oh well, what's the point of having a weapon press if you can just get these? Well, the thing is yes, you still have to spend a fortune to get this this outpost, but on top of spending a fortune, you also have to have knowledge of munitions to even utilize these functions. You need power and engineering to do these. Now, these are special crafts, guys. These are the new flashbang that Zeru added into the game. These things are super cool. I will actually showcase what they do. explode multiple times, and they will also set things on fire. So if you're being chased by, you know, ferals or stuff like that, throwing one of these behind you will CC them, and it gives you a whole lot of time to be able to escape while it's just keeping them stunned in place. And I'll show what it does to zombies right now. All right, so we got a little horde of zombies right here. Show you guys what this does. Throw it down there. So as I said, guys, these flashbangs are totally worth crafting. But like I said, you do need to get your hands on the military outpost. All right, guys, so next what we're going to jump into is you are allowed to craft a biochem station in this also. There's actually one more thing that's going to be added to the requirements. So you need the knowledge of medicine, you need knowledge of chemistry, and you need power. 700 parts, and we will be doing 50 plague samples. So you need 50 plague samples, 700 parts, and you can craft yourself a biochem. Now, the biochem station mission is lately, for me at least, has been really hard to come by. I played a whole entire series of Darkside. I never, ever got the biochem station mission. I ended up getting the Zed Hunter Trader, and that's how I was able to get mine. But if you're not lucky enough to get that trader or the mission, this is another way for you to get one, a guaranteed way. It is very expensive, but it is guaranteed. So if you guys do want to get your hands on a biochem station, that is how you do it. All right, guys, so last but not least, what we're going to talk about here is I have a mod. This is a special mod that we created. It is called the Echo Weapon Crafting Station. This is a unique mod to Darkside only. And what it does is it allows you to craft all of the echo guns that are in the game, all of the ones that come from Trumbull Valley. And you have to buy this facility mod off of a trader, and then it can only be installed in the artillery outpost. It's the only place you can use it. So once again, like I said, this outpost is not easy to get. So on top of claiming this really hard outpost, you can install this mod once you are able to get your hands on it. Now, when you install of this mod, it allows you, like I said, to craft all of the different echo guns. We have the Echo S1 revolver, and as you can see, we made it cost piles of weapon remains, guys, because it made a lot of sense. And these are integrated suppressed guns, so I figured you got to take piles of these weapons and an advanced suppressor. So now this kind of ties in with advanced suppressor crafting, because obviously it's going to be hard for you to get your hands on a whole lot of advanced suppressors. So being able to craft one, to be able to use it to craft one of these echo guns that require the built-in suppressors, I just felt like it was a really cool system that compound on top of each other. And I think it works out really, really well. But this is very, very late game stuff, guys. Like I said, I wanted to add more to the late game, and I feel that this does this perfectly. All these intricate, super advanced weaponry that you can craft, like all of the integrated suppressed echo guns. But as you can see, all you need is weapon remains and an advanced suppressor. And now, last but not least, guys, we took the Pyro Launcher out of the base game. Like, you can't just get it through the radio calls anymore. We took it out because obviously Pyro Launcher is very, very powerful. But what we did was we added it in here, and you can craft it in this weapon station. And I'm going to craft one, and I'm going to show you what it does here in a second. But when you craft one, obviously you need engineering, chemistry, power, you need chemicals, and 10 piles of the weapon remains, guys, to build one of these bad boys. And we also have the ammo. You can craft the Pyro Launcher ammo here, but as you can tell, guys, the ammo cost is very expensive, because that was one of the things that made the Pyro Launcher very, very powerful, was the fact that the ammo was extremely cheap to craft. And one Pyro Launcher round can kill a horde in one shot. So we increased the cost. You need chemistry, you need 350 parts, ammo, and fuel to be able to craft 40 rounds for the Pyro Launcher. Now I'll show you what the new Pyro Launcher in the Darkside mod does. All right, guys, so we have our Pyro Launcher here, the one we just crafted. Now the old Pyro Launcher, when you would shoot it, it would continuously shoot. It would never stop. Now with this, when you shoot it, it's one round at a time, guys. or you can hold it down and it will shoot full auto. So our version of the Pyro Launcher is insane. It's so good, guys. It feels so much better to shoot. Like I said, you can control your shots more. You can just shoot one round. And like I said, one round will easily burn up a bunch of zombies. Or you can sit there and just mow down on the trigger, guys, and you can shoot quite a bit of rounds. So end game wise, the Pyro Launcher is the Echo S8 flamethrower. Is definitely a gun you want to work towards, guys. It is super fun and useful, but like I said, due to the fact that it costs a whole lot to craft, I feel like it kind of takes away from the OP-ness. And that baby right there is something that we are in the production with right now. Me and Zeru are still going over the deets on it, but as you can see, that is the Shank launcher, which will probably be another craftable endgame gun. And as you can see, when he shoots it up in the air, it explodes, and then it spreads fire over a large area, guys. So it is a very big crowd control for zombies. And then he can actually shoot it even lower to the ground. And what that does is it kind of concentrates the fire into a smaller area. So the lower you shoot it to the ground, the more concentrated the fire will be. So that will maybe be the Echo S9. Is still in production. Still, it is not in the mod currently, but it might be something by the time this video comes out, you guys might be able to get your hands on. All right, guys. So one that I missed, the military outpost was not last but not least. We have the auto shop outpost, guys. We took the auto shops and we made them awesome. So what this does, guys, you go and you claim an auto shop. Your passives, you get plus 20 parts a day. And you get fuel filtration, utilizing some of the hardware and equipment that is built into those auto shops to get better gas fuel efficiency. So it gives you plus 30% fuel efficiency just for having one of these auto shops. Now, this is for the people who don't want to build a auto shop in your base. You can go out, you can get the Outpost, and it allows you to craft all the toolkits, the bulks, the singles. It allows you to boost the durability, so you can do some precision tuning, which makes your vehicle 30% more stealthy. You can make your vehicle more hardy by 30%, takes less damage. Both of these functions are really, really good in the lethal zone and stuff like that. Makes your car quiet, makes your car more tanky, doesn't explode as easy. And you can craft the upgrade kits, guys. So getting your hands on one of these auto shops, guys, it's an outstanding outpost. And like I said, it also supports facility mods that you could generally put in a workshop type area. It'll support those same type of facility mods for the most part. All right, guys. So I lied. I actually there's so many outposts in this game that were altered, and these two, honestly, I didn't even know about, guys. These are new to me. Zeru surprised me with these. These are awesome. All right, so we're gonna go with a fuel outpost. So if you go and you claim a gas station, any type of fuel outpost, what happens is, as long as you have power, right? You need power. You can activate the fuel pumps, guys. You can start that gas station back up, and what it does is it increases the yield. So instead of right now, baseline, without the power turned on, you get 2 fuel a day. But if you turn on your pumps and you activate this, you can you need knowledge of utilities. Obviously, you need somebody that knows something about utilities, power, and you can double your yields, guys. You can increase your yield by 100%. So instead of getting 2 a day, you're gonna be getting 4 fuel a day, guys. Insane. So good. This is such a good outpost, guys. Oh my god. So let's move on to the actual last outpost. All right, guys. So the espresso stands were kind of blah. Like, yes, you can craft espresso, which is very good, especially because crafting coffee and all that, the espressos last longer. But the big change for this, guys, the big change for the espresso stands is the plus 15 morale, guys. It is huge. So going and getting yourself one of these espresso outposts, if you're having really, really rough times with the morale, grabbing one of these will really help out, guys. So that is all of the Outpost so far. Like I said, let us know what you guys think in the comments. A lot of changes have been going into this. A lot of changes will still be happening over time. You know what I mean? We constantly think of nerfs and buffs and stuff like that. We've changed the costs and stuff goes up, stuff goes down. But like I said, Zeru puts a lot of hard work into this. It's all amazing. Yeah, so let us know what you guys think.